Well, hello, Jen. You know who I am?
Hi, Jen. It's so nice to meet you.
It's been a while since we've sat in the same room together.
It's been about a month.
It's been about a month. I know you've been busy spring breaking it and all of those things, and I've been doing my best to combat the bubonic plague that's arrived at my home. So if I sound a little nasally today, that's because I'm on the other side of it. And I think what you really didn't have a plan when we showed up to sit down today. It was more just like, hey, let's reintroduce ourselves to each other. And even though we've known each other for years, but like say, hey, I remember what you look like. Yeah. But as we started this kind of conversation about what we're going to talk about today, I think you brought up a good point. Falling out of our routine and how do we make our way back? Mm-hmm. And today's a perfect example. I mean, we've done, I don't know how many episodes of no expectations, and for whatever reason, the universe has told us to pause, and now we're trying to make our way back.
Yeah, a reset.
A reset. Tell me about your reset.
My reset, yeah. So let's see, the month of April, as I think the last time we met, we talked about burnout, and I was preparing for a very busy month of April, and true, it was, just going. And, I honestly, I got out of my meditation routine. I got out of, the routine of us meeting here and just kind of staying on top of our spiritual connection. I got out of my workout routine. And I know, I ate some meat. I mean, it was so bad. I started having the physical effects mm-hmm. of what that looks like for me. And last week, it kind of hit me. I was like, Jen, it's time to get back in it. Like, it's time for a hard reset. And
how did that arrive to you, that idea that it was time to come back?
My anxiety started telling me, I started WebMDing physical symptoms I was having. Yeah. And my anxiety started telling me that I might have cancer, that something was significantly wrong with me because, I'll just be frank with you, like my internal systems had just pumped the brakes and stopped. And as a woman, that when things shift in our body, I guess man
I don't
too.
Know.
You don't know. You have no clue what I'm talking about.
You said as a woman,
As a woman, you know what I mean, Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
But yeah, to me, that physical effect is always that red flare for me that, hey, everything is not going as it should. You're not doing the things that you need to maintain your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the same thing. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your thoughts and be aware of them. I fell into a similar kind of trap at the beginning of the month. I'm getting myself ready to go on a big excursion come fall, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around being not only physically but mentally prepared to do that. And in doing so, I've really been pushing myself hard physically. Like 2-a-days, hiking 15, 20 miles on a clip, and then turning around and trying to do it again the next day. And my body really started to hurt. I think it hurt in different ways that it hadn't hurt in a long time. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, okay, that's just a small problem. I can work through this, put some ice on it, maybe take a bath, whatever it was, take a bath.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much push through the pain. It was like acknowledging that it was there and not letting it, not ackning it, but I wasn't listening to it.
Yeah.
I was like, I hear you, IT band screaming at the top of your lungs.
But I'm busy.
But, we're not going to get, another 15 miles if you sit there and continue to scream. So I'm going to make you quiet and put some ice on it, or Tiger Balm.
That's my
Tiger
favorite.
Balm fix all things,
it really
right?
does.
Because you can't
bad
feel
for
anything
you.
or smell anything. And I never understood, that's a separate conversation, but I never understood why Tiger Balm, when you put it on, let's say your hip, you feel the warmth there, but you never feel it on your fingertips.
That's weird. Yeah.
But if you put it on your eye that's been on your fingertips, you will feel it. That's a separate conversation. But I wasn't listening. And then I was continuing to kind of, burn the candle at both ends. I crashed pretty hard. Like my body was like, this is not happening anymore. We're not doing this.
Is that when the plague?
The plague
entered?
also arrived at my home, and was also a knocking at the door pretty hard.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, it's time to pause.
Yep.
And I got the hard pause.
Forced. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm still in the process of kind of coming back from that. And I think you had brought up a great analogy about getting medicine from the doctor. And
Yeah. I call it the amoxicillin effect, where, the doctor gives you amoxicillin to treat, an infection, and by day 7, you're feeling much better, and you just kind of, like, for me, that bottle always just goes into a little basket on my kitchen counter, and
there's
I forget about it.
Left, right?
There's 1 or 2 left, and they tell you got to finish through the whole. You got to get through these 10 days, and I learned a big lesson a couple years ago where I had to go through that routine 3 times.
Yeah.
And so I'm just putting more and more of this in my body, but I would get to like day 7, start feeling better.
I don't need this anymore.
Yep, and carry on. And
I mean, I think that's a great analogy that works with our spiritual practice too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I've seen this as far as I need to go. I've got what I need.
got what I need.
So let me get out. This has been fun.
Yeah.
But
I'm feeling great.
I'm feeling great. And then we dip off our path, or we break our routines, and then we find ourselves thinking we've got it all sorted out. And then when it hits the fan again, then we go back.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about that before. What's that like? It's more difficult to come back on, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have this expectation. Well, the last time when I was, really working hard on my, spiritual practice, I was, meditating twice a day for X number of minutes, and I was journaling, and I was doing yoga asana, and I was breathing techniques, and I was crushing it. And then I've been away for a couple months, and I came back, and I expect to be able to sit twice a day for X number of minutes and do my yoga asana the same way, at the same level I was doing it before, and it's not there. And then what happens is you start, oh man, I suck at this. And then that's a different spiral.
Yeah.
Right?
That ego creeps in. The
Right.
one that you worked so hard to shush is just like,
then you
gets
end up
louder.
on noexpectations.me and start looking for tips on how I can come back. So your anxiety is shown up and says, like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this quickly? Right? And that's the trouble with dropping in and out.
Mm-hmm. But it's also very natural. I mean, it's natural, but it can, as long as you keep coming back to it, I think.
I mean, natural how?
I mean, I guess, like if we go back to an analogy that you love, is how our life is like an ocean,
Right.
and the waves, and waves come and go, and I mean sometimes you just get caught up in the current, and
And then you let the current take you to a distant shore.
Yeah. And if you can find something in that distant shore to learn and to bring it back to your spiritual practice.
Hold on. So I'm going down this road.
And I'm digging deep, guys.
So we're on the ocean. We make our way to the distant shore. And most oftentimes the distant shore is what perceived is enlightenment or some sort of change, right? And then what happens to the raft that we've been on to get us to that distant shore? What do we do with it? Stick a knife in it, deflate it, send it back? No?
No, get back on
sure?
it. I want to get back on it.
Because it seems like a lot of times people are like, I'm going to stick a knife in that because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to
reached the
deflate
shore.
that.
Yeah.
I've reached the other side. But really the other side is just a continuation, is it not?
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to.
You got me thinking about Gilligan's Island now.
Well,
Sorry. It's been a minute since we've been in the same room.
yeah.
And-
Well, I was not thinking about Gilligan's Island.
That's how analogies work. Sometimes they just paint a picture for you that's much broader.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that was not it.
No, okay. All right.
Okay, so then you can stick with Gilligan's Island. I'm thinking about the Zen proverb, the obstacle is the path.
Yeah.
How does that apply to this? So the obstacle of falling off the path is the path.
You're actually still on it, yo.
You are still on it,
Yo. Come on, yo. Yeah, I mean, but if you know, it's, you hear so often, falling off the bandwagon, or I'm falling off of my path, and I'm, looking at it like you have detoured and you're going in the wrong direction. But if you really just look at like all the directions you take, you're still on your path, and just keep using it toward the goal, enlightenment, toward your spiritual journey, then
Right. And you could also say that the friction is what's required.
yeah.
The friction is what's required to make things work. You need some grist, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to fall off the path, or you need to maybe veer off and, run into the ditch a little bit and then pull back on, just to get
Yeah.
some perspective.
Yeah.
You need that little bit to go, okay, and maybe that's a way to check in with your progress. Not that I believe in progress, but it's a way to check in with it.
You don't believe in progress?
I think there's an expectation tied to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a timeline and a steps toward.
Yeah, so I just like to let it come
It makes sense.
naturally, and see what happens. I'm going to change gears here
Yeah.
on the fly.
Uh-oh.
So I think the last episode that I recorded without you, it was just not the same, if I'm perfectly honest.
Talking in a room to yourself.
Talking would be the first time.
I thought it was great. It
course.
was on Glacia's.
Of course it was
It was
great.
great.
Of course
Kind
it was
of.
great. I was there. Yo.
Minus one.
Yo. But if I listen to that episode, which I usually don't, I hear a leaf blower in the background.
Oh, you can't go anywhere in Georgia without hearing
I know.
a leaf
So this
blower.
is you can break out the rant card if you still got it available.
Yep.
Maybe you burned it. But that's a big problem I have living in Atlanta, is that there's constantly a leaf blower going.
Constantly.
It is the songbird of the South now. That all it is just this drone. And I'll be quite honest, it really bothers me.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting outside reading a book, or
On a hike.
and I hear this. It doesn't matter how well I am insulated inside the woods. For some reason, I can still hear this leaf blower. And on occasion, it's like starts to like build this tension inside of me when I hear like, I wish somebody would stop. Mm-hmm. Why does this always have to be? And I try to, from a meditation standpoint, a mindfulness perspective, like, hey, just let it pass through you and not let it overtake. So I'm going to connect these dots with the friction here in a second. So last week was my birthday. Thank you. Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
No, it's not necessary. So I decided to go to the monastery, the Buddhist monastery, and sit. And if you've ever been to the Dharma Jewel in, I believe that's Tucker, Norcross. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful facility, very nice. It's quite serene. So anyhow, I go there, and I decide to sit, and I'm there for maybe an hour and a half, sitting in the meditation room. And guess what? There's a leaf blower that comes to the outside of the temple and just sits there, and I swear the universe had done it by design. Sitting there. I mean, there must have been one leaf stuck on the side of the building that this guy was fixated on getting off, and he was revving that thing. And it was this opportunity to learn something there. It was like a progress report for myself. This leaf blower going at full throttle, and I didn't let it get to me. I was like, okay, this is not a thing. I was like, this is not that big of a deal. It's like, I certainly hope that gentleman gets that leaf off the building that he is so desperate to collect. I do appreciate the attention to detail. I'm not a big fan of the drone, but I understand. I'll accept that and the resonance, and I'll try to bring that tone into myself and not let that overtake me.
Nice.
And that was my birthday present to myself.
Nice.
But I needed
You
that
found
friction.
it. Yeah.
I needed that friction. It found me.
It found you at a place that is created as a silent,
Right.
meditative space.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Out of all the places I thought in the local Atlanta area that I would be safe from the drone of a blower,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not.
There are no safe places.
There are no safe places. But it arrived, and I gave myself that space to lean into it a bit and not get upset.
You know, I actually learned that skill from you one of the early days of practicing yoga with you in a studio. The exact same thing. There was a leaf blower or mower or something right outside, and you can hear it. And we were in Savasana, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God, I wish I would just shut up." Just kind of getting ragey in this moment of rest. And you said in that class, like, just ignore it. It's there. Like, let it come and wash through you. And you know, that is a skill that I've tried to carry on. You know, whether it's a leaf blower or a mower or my kids yelling, or you know, just being in spaces where the chatter and the talk is so overwhelming that, you know, it causes an emotion, whether it's rage or fury or just like frustration.
Yeah. It's like, why would you want to give it that space? I think it's okay to, you know, acknowledge those things or even let those things burn a bit, like anger, but you can't let them overtake. You know, you can say what you need to say. You can think what you need to think, but you can't get fixated on it. You can't run down that road and not come back.
Yeah.
You can't let the power of that emotion overtake.
No, attaching yourself to anger is, yeah,
It's a dark place.
it is.
So that's my story about the obstacle became the path,
I like it.
the blower.
The blower.
And the only reason that became an issue for me is because I said it out loud one time. And at some point, I think someone had said that to me. That
I think I said it on one of our last walks, where, you know, I was chasing you in the woods, and I was like, "Can you hear the leaf blower, Andrew?"
I was too far ahead of you. I probably
couldn't hear it.
I couldn't hear you. I probably were you out there? When did we hike together? I thought we just ran into each other.
Oh no, we started at the same time.
I don't really recall that.
Progress.
So, yeah. Progress. All right. Any more thoughts?
No, it's nice to be in the same room with you again, and glad you made it through the plague.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be on the other side. So we're going to continue our conversations. Again, if you have any thoughts or things that you'd like us to discuss, feel free to message us. You can DM us on Instagram or Twitter, or find your way to our website at noexpectations.me and sign up and subscribe to our email list. We'll send you all sorts of, blog posts, but we won't spam you.
We won't spam you.
We won't spam you.
Not requesting money, no donations.
If you fall off your path and you need some more inspiration, or you need some insight, you can always go to the blog and read what we're doing up there.
And if you know us in real life and you see us, we have these really cool stickers we'd love to share with you. So.
Oh, yeah. Really, what does it say? Must I evolve?
Must I evolve?
And the answer is yes. It is yes. But do the best you can with what you got.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day.
Thanks for listening to No Expectations, the podcast. We invite you to come join us and carry on the conversation at noexpectations.me, our new website, where we will be posting blog posts. We will link all of our episodes there, and you can follow us on our social media sites through the website.